Hey guys, Frugal Samurai here, hoping everyone is well. Welcome again to my channel where today we will be talking about one of the most controversial topics in investing here in Australia, and that is on the subject of negative gearing and whether it is still relevant in today's environment. So many of us will recall last year when Labor lost the unlosable election with one of their key policies being the abolishment of negative gearing. So what is negative gearing and why is there such a fuss about it? Well, negative gearing is when the expenses associated with an income producing asset like property or shares is greater than the income that it produces. So this difference is the amount that can be negatively geared. So we hear this every day in the media, but usually in relation to negative gearing in our property markets. So here's how it works by way of an example. So let's say that I earn $10,000 from rent from an investment property, but then it costs me $15,000 to hold this property in the form of interest payments and other fees and costs. This $5,000 difference is the amount that I'm able to negatively gear. So then I am able to use this $5,000 against my other forms of income, such as my salary or my wages, to reduce my pre-tax income and hence the amount of tax that I'm able to pay. Oh, and positive gearing is the opposite of this. This is when you receive $15,000 from rent, but it only costs you $10,000 in terms of expenses to hold that asset. So a difference of $5,000 is income and you will need to pay tax on this. So you may be thinking, hang on, $15,000 in expenses but only $10,000 in income, why would I want to do this? Well, the reason for this is if the capital growth from the property exceeds the amount used to negatively gear. So in our example, if the capital growth or value from the property increases by more than $5,000 per annum, then I come out ahead. So this is why it is such a controversial topic, because it is partly the reason for the significant rise in capital growth from our property markets in our major capital cities in the last couple of decades. It's also quite popular, evidenced by the fact that it's estimated that 1.3 million Aussies own a negatively geared property. So when should you negatively gear? Well, number one is when you have enough disposable income to hold the property. Because remember, you are covering the losses from the property itself. Number two is when you want to save tax. Although personally, I wouldn't recommend negative gearing on the sole purpose of obtaining a tax deduction, but because it is a tax deduction, many high income earners do negatively gear. And number three is if there is an increase in the property value or the rental value is expected. So like I mentioned before, negatively gearing works if the price appreciation of an asset increases more than the amount used to cover it. But what about on the flip side? When should you not do it? Well, number one is if there are no increases in the property value or rental values. In this case, you are just making losses from a dud investment. Number two is when your disposable income is low. So cash is king, and if cash flows are tight, you don't want to be spending more money than you can afford. And number three is when you want to expand your portfolio and build passive income. Because generally, you'll run out of money if every single asset you hold in your portfolio is negatively geared. This is because each requires you to put more money in than you get out. So the most important question is, should you do it? Well, everyone's situation is unique, but my personal opinion is that negative gearing is just a tax strategy at a point in time. At the end of the day, it does come down to the asset itself and whether it fits into your investment goals. Because what is a negatively geared property today may very well easily become a positively geared property in the future. Similarly, if property prices don't increase in value, then you are just throwing good money after bad. But like everything else in investing, it all comes down to numbers and your risk profile. So make sure you work out things like your out-of-pocket expenses and also factor in things like interest rate rises and other fees and maintenance before you jump in. So hopefully this video has given you some food for thought as to whether negative gearing may or may not work out for you. What do you guys think of this video? Let me know in the comments below, and please, before you go, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, click on the bell, turn on notification on, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.